everybody? I'm Brandon. Today we're doing a video from the infographic show. Shout out to the infographic show. I messaged your channel heavy. Listen, y'all know I'm a huge nerd. I'm gonna be honest with you. I watched the infographic show on my own. I watched the infographic show. I watch a lot of shit. I don't know, man. I like to learn. I'm a nerd. It is what it is. Anyway, this one right here is titled Russian Sleep Experiment Explained. A subscriber was saying, Brandon, react to this. Brandon, react to this. It's crazy. I've never heard of it. So I want to see what it is. What the fuck is a Russian sleep experiment? I'm ready to hop on into it. Let's go.
A Russian researcher enters a room where he expects to see his human test subjects alive and well. Instead, he witnesses absolute pandemonium. He hears screams of the damned, and in front of him is a body that's been torn apart and eviscerated. It looks as though the Antichrist himself has been in the room. Even the survivors have had chunks of flesh ripped from their arms and legs. Their ends of their fingers shown exposed bone. Their faces are sheared of skin. What is this inferno of madness, thinks the researcher. This wasn't exactly how the experiment was supposed to turn out.
Niggas started killing each other?
Food wasn't great. We might have made those beds a bit more comfortable, but tearing each other to shreds over a bit of lost sleep? Come on, guys. That's not very comrade of you.
Yeah, that don't make sense.
That nightmare scenario is straight out of the famous Russian sleep experiment, if you believe it really happened. Let's start from the beginning of the story, and then we'll tell you what our team of world-class sleuths dug up on the truth behind this horrific experiment.
This shit sounds crazy.
In the late 1940s, and Soviet-era researchers have created a stimulant that they believe can keep a person awake for a long time. Which is handy when you're fighting a war.
So not no 5-hour energy.
The Germans had their version
like a 3-day energy,
stimulant, which was a formidable methamphetamine called Pervitin. The Americans and the British would dose their troops with the amphetamine Benzedrine, which was similar to your garden variety speed. The Soviets are looking to up the ante and use their own version of a drug.
Did this nigga just say the U.S. government was giving speed to their soldiers so they would sleep? We just go, all right.
Which won't lead to a total wipeout after a 3-day-long binge. They've made something special, but they need to test it on humans first. It's not hard to find test subjects since prisoners of war were aplenty in the 1940s. And where prisoners were concerned, bypassing ethical considerations wasn't such a big deal. They set up a test area where 5 subjects will stay. It's a sealed environment into which the researchers can release the stimulant in gas form and check if the levels of oxygen are okay. The subjects have been given dried food, each a bed with no bedding, running water, and a toilet. The researchers listen to the subjects through a microphone, and there are cameras through which they can monitor the subjects. The only portholes to the outside are 5-inch thick glass windows, which are barely good enough to see a shadow from. The scene is set, and the 5 men seem in good spirits for the first 3 days. The gas is doing its job, and the researchers are pleased about that. One researcher tells another, Nazi meth, what a joke. Just wait until the world sees what we've cooked up. Comrade Stalin will be most pleased.
3 days without sleep so far.
Agreed to try and stay awake for 30 days.
What the?
And falsely informed that if they can make the 30 days, they'll get their freedom. Such a deal seems fair to them. Things turn slightly dark around the 4-day mark, when the subjects start discussing war and the horrors they've seen. They speak of traumas, continual nightmares, other ghastly things they witnessed. Day 5, and things get worse. The men start showing signs of psychosis, talking to themselves, and things that are not there. They grow paranoid of each other and start whispering into those microphones, telling stories about the other subjects. The researchers, of course, know all about sleep deprivation.
Okay. I'm sorry for laughing. What the fuck?
5 days.
I believe this
can turn on a person.
Yeah.
Hallucinations can seem real and horrifying. But they wondered, was it the loss of sleep or the gas itself? Suspicions about the gas effects were more solid at day 9, when one guy just started screaming, howling like a banshee running up and down the room. He screamed so much he seemed to tear his vocal cords. After a few hours, he squeaked like a children's toy. A few more days passed, and there was an eerie silence. The men could not be seen from the cameras. They were alive for sure, since the oxygen levels indicated 5 breathing men, but where were they? The researchers hadn't wanted to interrupt the study, but they felt that they had no choice.
Listen, man, I have a dark humor, okay? Leave me alone, all right? Damn, I know people gonna be like, Brandon, why are you laughing? This is torture. I know. I have a dark humor. I'm sorry. I know this is inhumane. I know it's wrong, all right? Just because I'm laughing don't mean I agree with it.
We're opening the
but
chamber
this shit
to
is
test
crazy.
Step away from the door and lie flat on the floor, or you will be shot. Compliance will earn one of you immediate freedom. They heard one voice respond. It said, we no longer want to be freed. What was this? Had they been getting ripped on that gas and were now addicted? The researchers said there's nothing we can do but open the door. They opened the vents and let fresh air displace the residual
fucking
smell.
devil in that
What
bitch.
the researchers heard next was the men screaming again, pleading for more of that damn fine gas. WTF, thought one of the Russians. Those guys are seriously hooked. They opened the doors on day 15, and to their surprise, saw one man was dead. You know what the scene looked like because we laid that out for you in the intro, but we didn't tell you what happened shortly after the gruesome discovery of the half-eaten man and the wounded survivors. On closer inspection, the researchers saw that the wounds on the men were very bad. They looked as if they might have been self-inflicted too. They had torn the skin and muscles from their own chests, which revealed the horrific sight of the men's lungs. Each man, it had seemed, had performed this macabre surgery on himself. Blood vessels that were still working had been removed. Other internal organs were seen laid out on the floor like a piece of art, and they were going to eat those morsels. They were dining on their own bodies and doing it with enthusiasm. The researchers called for backup, not daring to go near those poor wretches. They closed the door to howls of the men pleading for the gas to come back. When soldiers arrived to help remove the subjects, the extrication process wasn't exactly fun. One of the subjects ripped a man's throat right out, while another soldier had his balls removed. 5 soldiers lost their lives in total, but some of the victims took their own lives after the event. Once the subjects were out, the doctors injected enough morphine into them to sedate a Canadian moose, but the men still fought like wild beasts. One subject bled out and his heart stopped beating, but he still carried on screaming, "Give me gas! I need gas!"
What the
doctor
fuck?
had some bones broken during that great
facts?
spectacle.
I can't believe this.
Were eventually
This is like a
sedated and
movie,
distracted,
nigga.
moved to a secure facility. The researchers talked to each other, saying things like, "That wasn't meant to happen, was it?" They hated to admit it, but maybe the Nazis, the Brits, and the Americans had done the right thing in just plying their troops with top-notch crank. The surgeons got to work on putting the missing organs and bits of viscera back into one man, but this guy almost broke through his restraints. When the docs finally got the anesthetic into him, the man's heart stopped and he died right on the spot. The autopsy showed he had broken 9 bones and his muscles were torn all over his body. When they tried to fix up the next man, they decided 2 deaths were enough and didn't use an anesthetic. They patched him up nice, sewing his ruptured organs and laying skin grafts on him. The head surgeon said this man should not be alive after what he's gone through, but he admired his own work. A nurse commented that during the surgery, the beast had been smiling at her. She did wonder how male carnal instincts can remain functioning during the worst times. Maybe with death comes the need to create something new, she philosophized, but quickly shook herself out of her reverie. The man suddenly started making a wheezing sound as if he wanted to say something. The nurse, quick to catch on, handed him a pen and a pad below it. The man wrote, "Keep cutting." Wow, she thought, what a maniac. She was glad she'd not reciprocated his flirty smile. As for the other maniac, he laughed like a hyena during his bodily reconstruction. He said he wanted that gas, the good stuff. And when asked why, he said he just needed it to stay awake. The surgeon mused, if these guys weren't so hell-bent on eating themselves, they'd make excellent night shift custodians. Cleaners, perhaps, or maybe security. But he knew all too well that they couldn't be trusted to wash their hands. Then, a former KGB agent had an excellent idea. Something that had amazingly escaped everyone else's thoughts. Why not put these poor suckers back on that gas? He said it seems the problems all start when they all go into withdrawal. Hi, they're okay, if not a bit hyper and paranoid. We can work with that. Once back on the gas, they were fine and dandy. But then something strange happened. The EEG monitor showed crazy brain activity, but then it just died down.
If they can't sleep,
flatlined. Finally, he just died.
His brain was working that fast?
Junk had done him in, or at least it seemed so. The last guy ended up back in the study room with the other guy seemingly dead on the bed, but 3 researchers were in there too. Suddenly, one of the researchers shot the commander and then shot the subject. He then shouted out loud, "I won't be locked in here with these things, not with you. What are you? I must know." The subject that was shot, but evidently was not dead, replied, "Have you forgotten so easily? We are you. We are the madness that lurks within you all, begging to be free at every moment in your deepest animal mind. We are what you hide from in your beds every night. We are what you sedate into silence and paralysis when you go to the nocturnal haven where we cannot tread." That was almost the end, but for good measure, the researcher put a bullet into the man's chest, which might have breached the Hippocratic Oath. So,
y'all want me to get spiritual or not?
I want to get spiritual. The end.
Bro, that shit sounded crazy. It looks like they were about to debunk it. I don't want it to be debunked. Let me think this crazy shit happened. But no, let me explain something really quick. I'm gonna get spiritual on y'all. If y'all don't want to hear it, you can end the video right now. But I'm about to get spiritual on y'all. All of us, we have a light side, we have a dark side. We have a yin, we have a yang. We have a masculine, we have a feminine. It doesn't matter. Everything is balanced. What he just said, that's facts. We all have a shadow side that we all try to like keep hidden. It's that evil that's inside of you. You know how cartoons always showed a good and an evil? We all have that inside of us. So I believe that. This video was insane. If you guys want me to react to the rest where they debunk it, let me know down in the comments. Shout out to the homie that kept requesting this video. I'm about to send this. I'm about to send this to like my family and a few cousins real quick and be like, hey, let me know what you think about this. That's crazy. Great video. See y'all next time. Peace.